All right, welcome back to the final round here, number 4 at Modern Mondays at Guardian Games in Portland, Oregon. I'm Travis Cooper, hanging out from Portland Paper, and I'm here with
Tim Chan.
And yeah, we have interesting matchup here. It's probably going to be pretty quick. We have 8-Rack versus Mono Red Phoenix. But yeah, just a couple housekeeping notes here. We've got a couple streams coming up the next few weeks. We have one on the 14th at around 6:45 or so that we're doing from Disc Heroes. We're doing a modern stream there. And then on the 21st, we have a Popper event that we're streaming at 6:30 as well. And yeah, we recently reached affiliate on Twitch, and we're trying to expand the amount of streaming we do. So if you want to support local paper, our sort of regional modern streaming in the Northwest area, specifically around Portland, feel free to give us a subscription, and we'd appreciate it, and doing some upgrading on equipment and stuff here. But yeah, that's the promotional spiel.
Yeah.
As far as the matchup is concerned, I'm thinking it's a pretty landslide for Phoenix.
At least definitely game one. The only imaginable way I could see Colin doing well is if Chris gets stuck on one land and he smallpoxes Chris.
Okay.
That's about it, but otherwise game one's going to be pretty quick on Chris's side.
Should you be on the draw?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Colin's playing Ensnaring Bridge in the main deck. It feels like that goes in and out of favor in 8-Rack decks, and there's no real set 75. So if that is in the deck, it might be a little bit of a road bump, but realistically, Chris just needs to deal some chip damage with the creatures in the first few turns, then burn spells can finish it out.
Let's go for Inquisition.
And both these players were sitting at table number 1 and are undefeated this evening. Our top ranked players. We have 8-Rack.
See, smallpox would be great for Colin next turn.
Yeah, we have a Looting, we have a Lightning Bolt, a Bedlam Reveler, a Light Up the Stage, and a Skewer the Critic. So 2 newish cards hanging out in the hand there for Chris. And Spectacle. Spectacle's pretty interesting mechanic. I like it a lot.
Yes.
It's very balanced and adds a new and interesting dynamic to these decks.
Sure.
And we have a Looting here.
Chris found at least a bolt.
Curious if we found a land or not. Is 8-Rack playing Smallpox?
Yes.
Okay.
A-Rack
Is there one in the
plays-
hand?
Yes,
Oh,
there
yeah.
is, but he's missing his second black source.
Okay.
He's just got to field the runes right now.
Okay.
But it would be devastating, especially if Chris does not hit that second land right now. And it looks like he did miss it.
Oh, as much as Chris is my friend, I'm kind of rooting a little bit for Smallpox right now. I'm sorry if you're
Oh,
rewatching
is this
this,
a swamp
Chris.
right here? Oh, it is not. But it is a Thoughtseize not that great, yeah. So Colin actually has 2 smallpox, I believe, in hand. Or no, sorry, that's a Shrieking Affliction. So
Okay.
he has 1 smallpox and a Shrieking Affliction. So I assume he's gonna. I think he's going with the Raven's Crime. I think that's a fair trade. And I think that was a land.
So a lot of damage incoming here.
Attack for 1, 4 damage, I'll bolt you. You go to 14 and then 12. Your turn.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough. Kind of got a little bit land screwed there. Kept the 2-lander. Didn't see any additional lands in 3 draws.
Shooting Affliction, sure. Good. Upkeep, take 3, right? Yeah. Down to 17.
And Chris is going to effectively be bolted on upkeep there.
Lightning bolt you.
Ooh, this is going to be a fair amount of damage.
4, and then 5.
And Colin going to 5.
Do we know what Chris's last card is?
Land.
Oh, land. Okay.
Okay, land to enable flashback of looting.
So if we get a fatal push, then Colin's got 4 more turns.
Well, there's going to be at least a flashback of looting for some prowess points.
We got the swamp, but it's not the right swamp.
Oh, well, it does something. At
Yes.
least one can hope that Chris does not draw a spell right now. Oh, take 3. So Chris is
Oh, that's game anyways. So
Chris just won.
Yep.
His second black source could be cool.
All right, sideboarding. It's a pretty rough matchup for Colin. I imagine you're probably taking out your Thoughtseizes here.
Yep.
Maybe some Collective Brutalities if they're in the deck could come in.
I can see ley line, or no, sorry, wrong ley lines. I was thinking the white one. Sorry.
Yeah, Leylines of the Void are hanging out there. It looks like Chris has a bunch of 3 or 4 of cards to combat very specific strategies, like Damping Sphere versus Tron, and maybe Titan. There was Leylines against graveyard decks, but not a whole lot against this Phoenix deck. Bantu's Last Reckoning is a card I would maybe consider sideboarding in, just because the mono red deck is playing a lot of 1-drops.
Yes.
And if you can just, even if you draw a couple removal spells, fall behind by just having 1 prowess creature survive and deal you 1 to 3 damage each turn.
I can imagine Chris brings something like either if he's playing a Braid or Smash the Smithereens because of A-Rack itself as an artifact.
Also, there is a new enchantment that Burn is playing. I don't know if Chris is splashing. Do you think Chris is splashing green?
No, he's strictly mono red.
Okay, no Stomping Grounds in the list.
And I believe Colin is bringing Collective Brutality, so that'll help a little bit.
Yeah, you have to definitely time it correctly too, because it's only going to give a creature -2/-2. You kind of have to make sure your opponent isn't going to respond with a spell to pump the creature. But
Well, we hope, you know, Colin plays turn 1 Inquisition, Chris leaves him with like a Swift Spear, and then Colin plays Collective Brutality turn 2, right?
correct. Yeah.
That'd be the perfect ideal hand. Discard a card, remove a burn spell, and gain 2 life as well.
Yeah, gut shots are probably coming out for Chris in this matchup. What do you think is coming in for Chris?
Like I mentioned, some combination, depends on if he's playing a Braid or Smash or Smithereens. He's going to be bringing those in.
Okay.
Because again, it destroys 8 rack, and it's a burn spell. And
at a certain point, the bubble's gonna pop.
there's not much. I think I only saw him bring about 3 or 4 cards. There's not really much he can bring in this matchup.
Okay.
He's just trying to burn and outrace Colin.
I think that like even if Wizards of the Coast like was like, you know, we're not doing this anymore. I think
So, do you have a popper deck, Tim?
I do actually.
Did you get our invitation?
No, I did not.
Oh, I sent you a link to our
Oh, the
to our
Discord. Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't sure. I forgot about that. I do have. I built this long, like 2 years. I think 2 years ago. I have Affinity and I have Blue Black Delver.
Okay, Blue Black Delver is still very much a deck.
I think I'm probably out of date on some cards, but you know, it's Pauper. It's not too expensive.
Not gonna break the bank to update
Yeah.
your list.
I will
keep as well.
All right. Bog didn't do much here, and get a Swiss Spear coming in for 1.
Yeah. So either Smallpox or Collective Brutality would be really nice right now.
Do you see a Smallpox?
Okay. The value.
Collective Brutality, Fishing Raven's Crime, and Swamp. Golfing
Ooh.
House.
So he is keeping that Smallpox.
All right. So we got a Manamorphose, 2 Soul Scour Mages, an Arclight, and
Yeah, go ahead.
a Mountain.
So Colin's going to be able to Smallpox the next turn, get one of the Soul Scars, and get rid of one of the mountains. Not a bad turn next turn if he does that.
Yeah, I was curious. I was thinking about Manamorphose in this,
Yeah, over the Lava Spike.
but
However, I think Colin doesn't have an extra swamp in hand, so I'm kind of hesitant that he discarded that instead of another card.
Double Soul Spur. Go ahead.
it's a Fatal Push. 2 pushes?
I think it's on Shrieking Affliction. Oh, Mind Wrench.
Green hand.
So he's got 2 in Shrieking Afflictions,
Discard 2 cards.
Mind Wrench, and Fatal Push.
All right, some of the best turns start off with a Manamorphose. Are we going to get another one of those? Nope, just attack for 2.
Second main phase, I'm gonna double Screw. Round of 15.
Sure.
Your turn.
This is somewhat of a feel bad, but still quite good.
Okay, Colin should be, I think, at is it 19, and then took 6, so it goes down to 13.
Go ahead.
Got a Ratchet Bomb. And
Should be clearing it up.
Upright.
Ooh, that was a nice top deck.
Down to
But I
nine.
think Colin still has at least a Fatal Push.
correct.
And
That was a really good top deck.
yeah. So he's gonna deploy all his cards
Sure.
and Fatal Push 1.
Take a
6.
Down to 12.
So Colin's got the race going already.
Yeah. Maybe that wasn't a smallpox we saw. Maybe that was just a
I think-
Fatal push. Yeah.
Yeah.
Attack for 4. B for 2. Down to 7. Your turn.
Oh, Colin's.
Well, it's gonna have to be quite the chain.
Pretty much.
All right.
All right.
Colin gets game number 2.
I won't lie. Snag is like, I'm gonna be bad. I'm just gonna play 4 main deck Collective Brutality.
Okay.
Sometimes it's good.
So Colin brought in 4 Collective Brutalities, which is probably the best card he's gotten in his sideboard against Chris.
I don't know if anyone plays correct here though. I mean, you want to dump your hand as fast as possible, but like, that's interesting, right?
Yeah, I definitely think I gotta be on the play. I gotta just kill you fast.
I still don't know if we could tell if Colin has ensnaring bridges or not.
It feels like not
Yeah.
right now, especially if you're playing smallpox. I feel like that might be choose one or the other, especially if he's playing Liliana the Veil. It's sometimes going to be challenging to cast your 3 mana spells, and you don't want to overload with that. And smallpox is kind of effectively a 3 mana spell because you don't really want to be casting it
Yeah.
in 2 lands.
He did bring also a Ratchet Bomb in, so I guess maybe he's using that as a quasi board wipe right now.
Yeah, Chris is playing so many 1-drops. You have 4 Swift Spears, 4 Soul Scar Mages.
Oh, I actually there is 1 ensnaring bridge.
Saw Bridge? Okay.
There's at least 1.
Okay. Seems like if you're able to stabilize, that could be a way to prevent Arc Lights from coming back and winning the game. I know Colin's been playing 8-Rack here for at least a couple years. Not the only deck, but has gone back and forth between that and some other stuff. And so probably knows how to sideboard and the different configurations of the deck, tailored to maybe this game shop in particular, or maybe that's just what he thinks is good.
Yeah.
It's sort of hard to metagame Guardian because like tonight we had 55 players, sometimes we have 60, 70. I think the most we had on a regular night was like a little over 100, and so you're going to be
Yes,
playing
yeah.
a lot of really good players and a lot of good decks, so it's not like I've been to some other stores that might get a regular group of 12 where you can kind of go deep on your
Yeah.
sideboarding, but kind of got to be prepared for most good decks and some weird stuff here.
Just gotta be fast.
Yeah, I think that's fine for you. I just don't know what I want.
Yeah, like.
All right,
just
Colin
mid-range, I
being
think
on
that
the
I need to
draw is
Maybe.
usually, I would say not usually, a lot of times maybe 8-Rack is fine being on the draw, but in this matchup with Chris being so aggressive,
Ooh.
and having a
Your turn.
having a
So
1-drop hasty threat each game.
I'm not a fan of what Colin kept. He kept 4 swamps. Actually, he drew a 5th swamp, a 8-Rack, a Shrieking Affliction, and a Raven's Crime. This hand's too slow for him to interact with Chris at all. I would have preferred something like a Fatal Push turn 1, right? Or at least a Collective Brutality turn 2.
I get a Crypt with the Prowess trigger. Interesting. We saw Chris in another match today bring in a Crypt against Wilderness Reclamation. I wonder if it's just a way to have some incremental advantage, but then enable Prowess.
Yeah. This, I can imagine the only reason why he's bringing it against Colin is just Raven's Crime.
Oh, got a Mutavault.
Imagine if I'm Colin, I just use Raven's Crime. Or I guess you can race this way also.
Take 5. Metamorphose. Sure. Red, draw. With 1 red, 1 Surge Swift Spear, 2nd red, Faden's Looting. Sure.
Oof.
2. So this has
2.
1 easy chef 2.
So it's gonna be a swing for 5.
3, 6, 8.
8, swing for 8.
Oof.
Ouch. Ouch.
Did
Your turn.
Chris take damage as upkeep?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so he's got a Mutavault. Oh. Thought that- oh no, that's Urborg. Sorry.
I sort of thought I saw
Down to
a
9.
Mutavaulting out there too.
I think it's the Urborg art.
Yeah.
And oh wow, he brought in Leyline.
No bots.
You go down to 3.
Yeah, we got a Bog there, which definitely
I'll exile your graveyard.
Hup. Exile the graveyard in the
Got it.
upkeep.
Unfortunately.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's I was pretty blisteringly fast,
that would've
but
been nice.
closer than I thought it was going to be there.
Yeah.
I drew a land. Like I was like, any spell.
Yeah.
And then you like before you buy me, I was like, land or spell, land or spell.
Kind of
We got
seemed
this.
kind of like an
We got this.
unfavorable matchup for Colin,
I was just
but
playing another copy
came
of
down
Rock
to a race
or
and just
Sharing Bridge.
lack of
Should've
drawing
done
any
some
real removal spells there.
Yeah, too many
Uh,
cards, right?
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, I wasn't a fan of the handicap.
Funky.
It was just slow. There's no interaction.
Mhm.
I'm not. I went mulligan. I
It's
mean, you're on the draw.
No, no.
You got at least one free
It
peak,
triggers,
in my opinion,
so
since
it's
you
another
get this free
spell.
scry.
Check out shots for
Yeah,
it.
mulliganing on the
Like, if
when
it
you're
still
on the draw
triggers
feels
the-
so much
like,
different
like,
when
it's
you're on the
one less
play,
damage, which
because
is, like,
when you're on the draw,
kind of
you're
irrelevant,
at card
but
parity. You
also
have the same
taking
amount
two is,
of
like,
cards as your opponent does, but you
not-
get a
I think
scry.
the face-up racks,
But when you're on the
not
when you're on the
keeping
play,
track
it just
of
feels so
anything
bad to
like
be
that.
starting down
Yep.
basically two
Actively
cards
just, like,
from your
running out of
opponent.
cards.
That's waste
Also,
knot. That's
life
kind
is,
of
like,
spicy.
cards in your hand.
Okay.
It's kind of
I know
Yeah.
people
I know,
wanted
I was
to get
thinking
waste
about that,
not
I was
working
like,
in
it's
modern
pretty
for a
good, and I mean,
long
it still
time.
drops
I feel like
but-
there's so many people that want Waste Not to work in anything.
I mean,
I've
it's
seen
not. Card
like
is,
some
like,
legacy brews
getting
with
the
Waste
cards,
Not, and
more burn is
I mean
like-
the card is pretty sweet.
Go skewer
But
and
yeah,
flip
when you
it
when you
shot.
have things like Arclight Phoenix in the format, etc., it's
I don't know about Leyline.
yeah, maybe a little bit too
Like I drew
slow.
one when like anything else might have been
Leyline's
nice.
kind of weird. Like
Yeah.
it's good against Phoenix.
Looks like Colin
specifically,
took
and, like,
out
it can
some
also
small
get from everyone with,
boxes
like, Reveler.
and
So, like, it shuffles, like, 6 cards.
French Mines.
I thought
Thoughts
about it
uses for sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I like the Leyline of the Void though. What do you think about
No,
that?
I'm not
That was
a
good
fan of the
Ravenspan
ley
hand,
lines.
but you were just empty and it's just
Especially
like, oh, it's
being
not
mono
good.
red versus blue red.
Yeah, it feels like the mono red list is basically burn with just a little bit more aggressive creature slant, and then Faithless
Yeah.
Looting to filter your draws, and then enable the Phoenix package. But it doesn't really rely on the graveyard so much. You just have a like a couple Bedlam Revelers, I think, and 4 Phoenixes, 4 Lootings, and that's about it.
Let's do 60 up.
I'm trying to get 1 buy. I'm 260 points away from 1 buy at all the GBs.
Yeah, and it looks
You
like
play most nights, right?
oh, most of the players at the top tables here have drawn their matchups, and I think we're gonna go ahead and yeah, we're gonna call it a night for this evening. We are going to be here every Monday. You can catch us at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're streaming from Guardian Games in Portland, Oregon. We have a couple other events that are coming
I mean,
up
the pressure's gonna be
this
on,
week.
though.
We're doing a stream on Thursday at about 6:45 that we're going to be starting another modern event here in Portland, and we are streaming on the 21st, which would be the following Thursday, a little Popper tournament. If you're interested in that, feel free to message us on Twitter, shoot us an email, leave us a message through Twitch, etc. And yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out, and we appreciate you being with us this evening. And thanks for coming out, Tim. That was
Yeah,
fun.
thanks for having me as always.
Yeah.
Probably more than I'll end up going to.